Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding a massive, literally unstoppable shift in how the world works. We are moving incredibly fast away from those traditional, localized offices and diving headfirst into a truly global, borderless labor market. Now, if you're a non-US employer, this new reality, it's a huge double-edged sword. On one hand, it's amazing. You can completely bypass local skills shortages and tap into this incredible pool of top-tier international talent. But on the other hand, it triggers a total maze of unprecedented legal headaches, insanely complex payrolls, and some very real cultural disconnects. So let's jump right in and make sense of it all.
Okay, to kick things off, we really have to ask the million-dollar question, the one keeping international executives awake at night. Is corporate loyalty actually dead? I mean, we hear this constantly in the boardroom right now. Employers feel like their teams are way less committed, like they jump ship to a global tech giant for just a tiny pay bump. Meanwhile, employees feel like they're being treated as, well, highly disposable assets on some international spreadsheet.
And the data paints a seriously stark picture of this loyalty crisis. When we look at late 2025 Glassdoor survey data, specifically analyzing employee reviews of senior leadership, there is a massive spike in negative sentiment. Words like disconnect, miscommunication, and distrust didn't just slowly tick upward, they surged by a staggering 25% in just a single year. The traditional employer-employee relationship is fracturing right in front of us, and trust levels are objectively plummeting across the board.
So here's our roadmap for navigating all this. We'll start by unpacking this corporate loyalty crisis, then look at how the unwritten psychological contract has been broken. From there, we'll dive into the rise of the digital nomad, navigate the real-world compliance nightmares for global employers, and finally, outline a playbook for success.
Section 1, the corporate loyalty crisis. Let's look at exactly why the modern workplace feels so highly transactional right now.
To really get why this transactional shift is happening, we have to look at the structural realities of remote work. Think about it. Without shared physical spaces, that office osmosis is just gone. You know, those spontaneous conversations by the coffee machine where company culture is actually built. Without that, employees are naturally starting to prioritize their own individual career goals over any collective organizational objectives. Plus, international boundaries are basically fading. An engineer sitting in Berlin can easily take a job from a company based in Singapore without ever leaving their living room. This frictionless access to global jobs has caused turnover rates to skyrocket, making it incredibly hard to keep a stable, localized team together.
Section 2, breaking the psychological contract. This actually brings us to a really fascinating academic framework for understanding why workers are pulling away emotionally.
The crucial takeaway here is that technology hasn't just changed the location of where we work. It has fundamentally breached what management expert Denise Russo calls the psychological contract. Think of this as the invisible, unwritten handshake between you and your team. You expect loyalty and hard work from them, right? And in return, they expect mentorship, growth, and to be cared for. But when remote tools completely alter how we're managed and how we communicate, it inadvertently rips up that invisible agreement. Both sides just end up feeling shortchanged. And we find ourselves in this brutal modern paradox. On one side of the coin, smartphones and digital tools have created this intense, always-on culture. The line between your living room and the boardroom is completely blurred, which, as you'd guess, leads pretty quickly to severe burnout. But on the flip side, this exact same tech creates profound isolation. Stripped of nonverbal cues and those quick informal chats, workers lose their effective commitment. That's the genuine emotional attachment they have to your company. So people are somehow feeling totally overworked yet completely alone at the same time. Section 3, the rise of digital nomads. This psychological detachment, mixed with a huge demand for ultimate flexibility, has birthed a completely new class of global worker. You see, you aren't just managing the traditional employee anymore, the one who commutes to the local office Monday through Friday. The labor landscape has fractured into this highly complex Venn diagram. Now, you've got hybrid workers splitting their time, in-country remote workers you literally never see in person, and digital nomads who might be logging in from an entirely different continent than your headquarters. Managing this fragmented reality, it requires a totally different operational mindset.
And hey, if you think you can just issue a mandate and force everyone back into the old boxes, the data has a really stark warning for you. A massive 66% of surveyed workers said they would immediately start job hunting if their remote work options were revoked. Even crazier, an astonishing 39% said they would quit on the spot. No notice, just gone. For global employers, remote flexibility isn't just a nice little perk anymore. It is the absolute baseline requirement if you want to retain top-tier talent. Conversely, when workers are actually given that ultimate flexibility, they absolutely thrive. 80% of digital nomads report being highly satisfied with their work. And a massive driver behind this is a concept known as geo-arbitrage. This is basically the ultimate life hack. A worker earns a strong currency, like being paid in euros or British pounds by your global firm, but they choose to live in a country with a much lower cost of living. They get to drastically elevate their lifestyle, and their overall job satisfaction just skyrockets.
Section 4, Cross-Border Compliance Nightmares. Okay, let's zoom out from the employee's mindset for a second and step directly into the boardroom, because this is where the borderless dream hits a very solid, very terrifying wall of legal reality.
Imagine this. Your employee is happily sitting at a desk in Estonia, or maybe a cafe in Thailand, but they're directly reporting to your headquarters in London or Singapore. Boom! You've just created a sprawling triangle of legal liabilities. While your headquarters is providing the economic direction and paying the salary, that employee's country of residence exerts its own distinct, sovereign laws over taxation, labor rights, and social safety nets. It is an absolute administrative minefield, and frankly, most HR departments are entirely unprepared for it. Let's honestly weigh this borderless balance sheet. The benefits? Absolutely massive. You get access to an international talent pool, you can completely bypass local labor shortages, and you can achieve 24/7 client coverage just by utilizing different time zones. But wow, the legal baggage is incredibly heavy. As an employer, you are immediately staring down double taxation risks, cross-border data security threats, and incredibly complex occupational health liabilities. Believe it or not, legally, you are often still responsible for an employee's working environment, even if that environment happens to be a beachside cabana in the Caribbean. To break it down, there are three massive pillars of international compliance that non-US employers absolutely must navigate flawlessly. First, income tax. You have to pinpoint exactly where the employee owes tax to prevent costly double taxation. Second, Social Security, ensuring you aren't illegally skipping payments or worse, paying into two national systems at the same time. For European employers, this means strictly managing those notoriously complex A1 certificates to legally prove where social contributions belong. And third, labor law. You are completely bound by the mandatory rules of your employee's host country. That dictates their local public holidays, paid leave, and maximum working hours, and that applies regardless of what your standard headquarters contract says. But perhaps the biggest trap of all is misclassifying a remote worker. Look, it's incredibly tempting to just hire someone globally as an independent contractor to skip all that red tape we just talked about. But jurisdictions like the UK and Chile have very strict binary labor laws. If local courts decide you exert daily control over that worker's tasks, or honestly, even if you simply supply their laptop, they are legally deemed your employee. Getting this wrong triggers disastrous financial penalties. We're talking massive back payments for years of missed wages, unpaid taxes, and severe legal fines. It's just not worth the risk. Section 5, the Global Employer's Playbook. Okay, we've outlined the psychological hurdles, and we have definitely covered the legal nightmares. So how do progressive organizations successfully manage this globalized reality without breaking the bank or losing their company culture? Well, embracing this shift strategically actually pays massive economic dividends. Just look at regional experiments like the Tulsa Remote Program over in the US. They actively paid remote workers to relocate there, and the results? They generated an astounding $1,377 in local labor income for every single dollar they spent on the incentive. The lesson here for European, Asian, and Latin American governments and businesses is crystal clear. The ones who actively incentivize and streamline this remote reality are going to capture the lion's share of global economic growth. To actually succeed at this, there's work to be done on both a macro and a micro level. On the macro side, governments really need to build integrated online portals to simplify this cross-border compliance and finally update those outdated multilateral tax treaties. But for you, the global employer, your mandate is culture. You have to intentionally engineer virtual team building, foster radical transparency, and honestly invest heavily in AI-powered employee experience platforms. You need modern systems that proactively monitor your team's well-being to prevent that crucial psychological contract from breaking when you can't be in the same room.
Ultimately, the modern workforce is irrevocably changed. The psychological contract has completely evolved from local, deeply emotional loyalty to a highly flexible global transaction. The specialized talent you desperately need, it's out there, but reaching them requires navigating a labyrinth of international law and completely reimagining how you build trust through a screen. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are your current HR and legal frameworks stubbornly anchored in the past, or are you structurally ready to dominate the borderless future?